Aloha artists, Miss Maggie here. Today we are going to do the second part of our Young Artists of Hawaii art exhibit project. This is the project where you just drew a draft for your drawing on the theme, my culture, my family, and me. So today we are going to take this idea that you started and transfer this to your large drawing paper. This extra large piece of drawing paper, it costs a lot of money to get one for every student. And so you need to take good care of it. I don't have an extra to give you if something happens to it. So think about, what do you need to do in order to take care of it? When you're not working, would it be good to have somewhere safe to keep it? If you are not working on it, do not fold it in half. You could roll it up gently and make sure that it doesn't get smashed. Make sure when you're working on it, you have a big enough space and that it's not going to get damaged by any food or drink or little brothers and sisters or pets, right? Two more important pieces for this project. Your artwork for this art exhibit needs to be horizontal. That means that your paper is long this way. That should be how you did your first drawing, but same thing for this one. And the directions say that you need to have your name on the paper, small, on the back, in the bottom right-hand corner. So I'm going to flip my paper over. I'm going to take my pencil, and in the bottom right-hand corner, I'm going to write my name. I wrote it small and neatly so it takes up only a little bit of space, but that it can be read easily. I'm going to flip my paper back over now. And what are the other supplies we are going to be needing today? Well, today you will need a pencil. You'll need an eraser. You'll need a ruler, your big piece of paper, and also your draft from our last video. That is what you're going to need today. Get those supplies and meet me right back here. And so today, we are going to take your small drawing and draw a new version of it that takes up the whole piece of paper. And I have some tricks to help you do that. But first, let's look at your sketch, whatever you have. Remember, this sketch is a memory or moment from your life that expresses the theme of my culture, my family, and me. Take a moment and look at your drawing. What do you notice about it? Is there one area that you think turned out pretty well? Is there another area, or maybe a bunch of areas, that you're like, that needs some work? I feel the same way about mine. But don't worry, I have some tools that are going to help us get there. I also have 3 things I want us to remember while we finish today's step. First of all, we need to make sure that we use the whole paper. Second of all, our details aren't very clear in our sketch maybe, but on our final drawing on the big paper, our details are going to be clear. And finally, all the details that you put into your artwork are going to tell us something about your culture, your family, and you. And so you're not copying my work of art, you're creating a work of art that expresses your culture, your family, and you. But how do we put the people into here larger? I'll show you that. And how do we make everything else larger? This is what we're going to do. Before you worry about specific little details, we are going to draw the skeletons and the shapes. The skeletons and the shapes. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, remember how we draw our people? We use a unit to help get to them in an interesting gesture. Well, we're not going to worry about getting one person perfect before we draw the rest. We're going to get everyone's skeleton in. Also, we're going to get the main shapes for everything else that's going on, like the table, but not everything perfect. And then once we have the skeleton and the shapes, then you work on making all of your details clear. Let me show you something about these two papers. This paper here is 9 inches on that side. And look at this. I've got 9 and 9. 9 plus 9 is 18. So this paper is twice as long. The paper is twice as long this way as well. So if I want to draw my people and I want them to take up the same amount of space, I need to change my unit. Before, I was doing the unit as 1 inch for their head. Let's draw the person bigger using 2 units. I marked it on here so you could see that. That blue tape is 2 units. And so I'm going to start with the skeletons and the shapes. I'm going to start with my mom again, who's sewing. But I think drawing the shape of the table helped me first. See, right now, I'm being very light because I'm not sure where things go yet. But this is my final paper. And I see that my mom's head is over the table at an angle. So I've got her head will be like that. So if I do her head right there, using my unit, that is 2 inches for the unit. Let's see if this works. Got a head there. And then the torso, the body, is 2 units, right? So that's 1 unit, 2 units. I think that'll work. The chair being there, maybe she should have been a little higher. Let's see if this works. Now, the legs are 1 unit, 2 unit to the knee, and then 1 unit, 2 unit to the foot. And her shoulders, usually I make the shoulders 1 unit across, but here's the thing. See how my shoulders go across this way? See how wide they are? Now look, are my shoulders as wide? She's sewing like this. So I'm gonna make her shoulders not as wide. I'm gonna make them half a unit, just 1 inch. Save some space for the neck. And then I have the shoulders. And then from each shoulder, from right up here, see I've got a little neck and then the shoulders. That's where the arms come down. So I've got 1 arm coming down here, 1 unit to the elbow, and 1 unit to the wrist. And I'll do this one from here, 1 unit to the elbow, and 1 unit to the wrist. And I only did 1 leg there because I think the other one was hiding. Maybe I put in the 2nd leg for this one. So 1 unit, 2 unit to the knee. See how I did that? I just did 1, 2 inches, 3, 4 inches. And then down here, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that works. Now, skeleton and shapes. Should I put more on her? I don't think I should yet, because just in case something's out of place, don't put more time in it yet. So I'm going to keep drawing the shapes and skeletons. I have the shape of the chair and the table, and then I'm working on the skeleton that will end up being me. And so I can make sure that gesture is right and that I'm in the right spot. I'm putting some of the shapes that are the rest of the room, the shape of the dog, and then I have my other family members that are further away getting their skeleton in. I made the unit a little bit smaller because they're a little bit farther away. I'm looking, what other shapes do I need in the background? Any other details? And I think I have all the shapes in that I need in all the skeletons. So now I start making my people into real people. I put in the joints, I put in the muscles, and then I start putting the clothing and face and all of that in there and make those shapes into real objects, real parts of the setting. Doing that with my sister and then my dad. All of that is going in to make the details clear. Here is the cabinet that my granddad built and carved whales into, and here's the dog that's a part of the family, and other details that tell us about the setting and some special objects on the shelves. I think I'm just about there with this step. I've been working hard to make sure that I use the whole paper, that I make my details clear, and that my details express the theme, my culture, my family, and me. I have my family all around making different things. I want to look at this piece though and see, where do my details need to be clearer? Here's a way that we can go through our artwork to see. You know what? Let's use our way of reading an artwork. Let's look for the facial expression, focal point, gesture, clothing, setting, objects, quantity, size, and we haven't colored it yet, but you might have ideas for the future. So, look at yours. Notice everyone's facial expression. Is there anything that you want to make clearer? I think my dad's facial expression could be clearer. That's pretty good. I think it needs a little bit more work, but that's where I need to work on the facial expression more. How about focal point? What is my dad actually building? I'm going to work on that. And everyone else's focal point? I kind of like it. I think that works. How's yours? How about everyone's gesture? Is their body position showing what they're doing? Remember, you don't have to have 4 people plus a dog. You at least just have to have one. But their gesture needs to express what they are doing and connect to our theme, my culture, my family, and me. How about the clothing? Anywhere that could get cleaned up or be better? I noticed something about my gesture / clothing here. My shoulder needs to be clearer. You can know the drawing needs to be clearer if you look at it and you can't tell what you need to Sharpie before you color, because our next step is going to be to Sharpie all your lines. And so make your lines clear so you know what to Sharpie. See how I just found that? I think I have a couple other areas I'm going to look at too. How about the setting? Look all around your artwork. Where are you? How clear are those details? How about the objects? A lot of times, artwork like this has objects in it that are meaningful to the picture, maybe even meaningful to your culture and family. I want to put more detail into my objects that are on the shelves and that painting there. And I want to show that this piece of fabric is special and has some special lace that was actually made by, I think it was my great-grandmother. But my mom has been taking this old lace and turning it into tablecloths that we can use. So we get to still enjoy what our ancestors made and continue our culture of making in our family. So, look at yours. Look at that facial expression, focal point, gesture, clothing, setting, the objects and their quantity, size. Size is a good one. You go, well, is that the right size? Is that really important, that object? Maybe it should be bigger. And think about color, because that is what's going to come in our next video. Okay, keep working on your artwork, but in the meanwhile, here is your reflection question. What was your biggest challenge in drawing on this large paper? And what was your biggest success? I can't wait to know. Okay, in the meanwhile, put this artwork somewhere very safe. Remember, you've got to take care of it. You can leave it somewhere where it can stay flat and not get crumpled or anything, or roll it back up. Put a little paper clip or rubber band on it so that it doesn't get crinkled, and save it for when you're ready to color. Make sure you put your pencil, eraser, and original sketch away too, just in case. Share your progress online. I love to see what you've been up to, and I'll see you in the next video when we turn this drawing into a colorful masterpiece. Okay, a hooey ho!